And now for a change of pace, we welcome back GraceAnn Walden, who is our in-house restaurant and food critic, if we may say.
Or food maven.
Yeah, the food maven. 15 minutes, we got to go through a lot of things.
Okay.
Real quickly, though, I wanted the viewers who remember the last time here, you predicted that there was going to be a greater move in San Francisco towards what's called quick casual, that is no table service. Because of the cost, the incredible cost that they're putting on restaurants right now, it was bound to happen.
That's bound to happen, but then, you know, the people who've complained a lot about it, the fellows who used to be at Post Trio, they're opening their third restaurant. So, you know, if the costs are really killing them, you know, there's still, people are, I mean, someone like Michael Mina has 10 restaurants. People have more and more restaurants. But quick casual is something that is going to work. There's a new place that's opening on Pine. It only has 20 seats. It's called Bob, Best of Burger. And they're doing little tiny burgers. And you can buy a bag full.
Like White Castle?
Like White Castle.
In Washington.
But better. But better. I grew up on White Castle.
Yeah, you just get 8 or 10 of them.
Exactly. And
yeah.
Like eat them like a washing machine.
They were great.
So Best of Bob is opening. And then someone like Hubert Keller, who has Fleur de Lis in the city. He has Fleur de Lis in Las Vegas. But he got pulled into doing Burger Bar in Vegas because somebody kind of fell through, and he got to do it. Well, he's done all kinds of burgers there, from a turkey burger to a burger with foie gras. And he's going to do one here in the city. So here is the top-level 4-star chef going with a casual, not a quick service, but a casual
Let me define
concept.
that. See, what was important is that you spotted this, and now, in my research, quick casual is not just a San Francisco phenomenon. It is the fastest growing segment of the restaurant industry. Basically, it is no table service, basically.
Right. Cut out the labor.
You go to you order, and you know, Starbucks was really one of the prime movers of this, especially now where they have sandwiches and they have sweets, of course. But the idea is you order, you take it to the table, you cut out all of the costs for waiters, and it goes quick.
Right.
You leave when you're finished.
Also, a lot of places, and this is a smart way to do it if you're going to cut out the labor cost, is you order and you take a number, and then you put the number on your table, and a runner, not someone who takes your order and has to go back and order it, a runner brings what you've ordered.
Yeah.
So that's another way to do that quick casual. By the way, the Burger Bar, which is going to be a sensation when Hubert opens it, nobody knows this. It's going to be right near Union Square.
Oh, it is?
Very close to Union Square. They're going to kill.
And will it be a quick casual or kind of a sit-down?
No, it'll
probably be a sit-down.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot of restaurants for us now because you haven't been on in a while. We've been trying to get you on. And so a lot has happened. I mean, there's been some trendy things happening. Some of it's a result of the economics of the city. Some of the result because people have no time and they don't want to sit down for 3 hours for a meal. Right. So tell us about some of these restaurants.
I think the prime things economically is rents are still high downtown and places like that. So now you're seeing restaurants opening in neighborhoods that would never have opened in neighborhoods before. When I lived in the Richmond district, it was, you know, little cafes, Chinese restaurants. But now you have a restaurant like the Richmond, which is on Balboa, which is a little more upscale, not price-wise, but a little bit more upscale. And it's a chef owner and his wife. They're both in the kitchen. And it's like when you go to France and you go out in the country and a chef owner has a place there, sometimes a place to stay. So the Richmond in Bernal Heights, the Tinderbox, you know, Bernal Heights is booming with restaurants on Cortlandt Avenue. Cortlandt Avenue, who would ever, but it's being also gentrified. And people bought
And
there.
my neighborhood in Russian Hill Polk Street is...
yes.
They have a lot of those restaurants you just talked about where it's the owner in the kitchen.
Right.
With his help.
Tajin. Yeah. Tajin started out in the Tenderloin. When I wrote about him, he had 10 seats. And now he's on Polk Street doing Moroccan food. He does a great job. And there's a new place that opened more in the Tenderloin on Polk Street at Eddy and Polk called Brenda's French Soul Food Cafe. And she's only doing breakfast and lunch, but people are just flocking to this place. But anyway, we're going to talk about trends. And I think everybody's going to be an alcohol rehabilitation these young people with the cocktails. And cocktails now they used to be $8, now they're $10. And one place is charging $11 and $12 for cocktails.
So you see a trend towards lounges.
Lots of lounges. When they redid Enrico's, they put in couches. Enrico's with couches. I mean, Banducci, I'm sure he saw it before he died, must have just freaked.
Turned in his grave.
Well, turned before he went to his grave.
Right.
But anyway, couches, and they do really nice food. So Enrico's is an example. The first one to do it was Bijou, which is down on 4th Street and I want to say Brannan, and that's from Loretta Keller. And she had this really nice French place, Bijou, did fine, completely revamped it, made it more casual,
right,
and called it Coco 500, lots of cocktails.
Cocktails, but again, and this is a decision I just made.
Fancy cocktails.
A decision I just made when I went to Shanghai 1930.
Yeah.
Looked over in the, there's the dining area, and the health dining, just order a few things while you're in the lounge area.
Right.
With the jazz. Dick Conti was performing, who I wanted to hear.
Right.
And we may have him on the program, by the way.
Oh, cool.
And I realized, you can bypass that whole formal sit down at a table.
Right.
And that's why I thought you were so on when you talked about the fact that it was shifting. People didn't want to have to go through that traditional sit down.
Right. Well, they just...
or you mentioned the big communals, too, right?
Everybody's got a communal table. You go to Nopa, which is on Divisadero, huge communal table. Another place that's got a more loungy look now after 10 years is Jardiniere, which is right by the Opera House, and they put in a more loungy, more drinks going on there. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, and everybody's doing it in the city that's into this, but there were people who were doing it 30 years ago, is salumi.
Salami.
No, salumi.
Salami.
I got you. Salumi is preserved salted meats. It's everything. No, it's everything. It's mortadella.
Can we get a picture of this?
Yeah.
There we go.
This is from Coletto's. Now, Bob Hellstrom is back at Coletto's on... Get my hand out of the way. This is mortadella, which is the original. Before anybody ever made bologna, which is yucky, they made mortadella. This is head cheese. This is a pate. This is air-dried pork. This is salami, 2 kinds of salamis here.
Copa.
One with fennel. Yeah. And this is copa, and this is air-dried beef. So he gets a pig every month, a whole pig from West Marin. And
he's doing this himself?
Yes, he makes all this. He does this. The one who's been doing it for 30 years, of course, is Lorenzo Petroni, North Beach Restaurant. Have you ever been downstairs? He has the prosciutto room. He has these prosciuttos hanging, and you can have dinner in.
He's doing his own. He did his own prosciutto
for 30 years.
I didn't know
Petroni, oh, his prosciutto is very good.
Oh, it is. So, it's very expensive.
Yeah, and very expensive. So Lorenzo Petroni, and then in the city, in Canto Restaurant. Did you ever? I told you about that place. It's out in Noe Valley, and he now has a separate business selling all his different salumi.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing you said when you were here, and it's happening too, you said that there would be this division between the very expensive, multi-million-dollar restaurants and this trend to cope with costs. Let's go to the luxury. We know there's 2 huge restaurants going on down at the waterfront.
Right.
One of them has got a huge aquarium.
2 Colettos, yeah. One is, I forget the name now, it has to do with water.
It's kind of like remember we had the owner of the DiMaggio's on?
Yes.
It's this Las Vegas feel to these restaurants.
Well, but Pat Coletto's always been doing that. I mean, Pat Coletto's done restaurants in Atlanta.
So Las Vegas caught up with Coletto. But the point is that those 2 restaurants are real, and DiMaggio's are real good examples of what we call that Las Vegas model, where you have to have that huge amount of environment. The food
well, look
is
at Joe DiMaggio's. That restaurant cost $6 million. How are they ever going to make the money back on
I wanted to ask
like
you about that. How
they're
doing?
Well, they're doing well. They're doing
what
well.
Are these $38 steaks?
Oh, even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, even more. But still, I mean, and 70% of the people that go there eat steak. But they're going to have 5 of them. When they open Joe DiMaggio's in New York, they're going to kill. We're already open one in Austin. They're going to open one in Florida. Then they'll open in Vegas, no doubt.
What about that? Remember, there was a trend you also talked about. A lot of these guys are chefs and so on are moving out of the city. They're all trying to target Las Vegas for sure.
Las Vegas, and also there are people who say, I can go to secondary markets. I'm telling you, I live in the suburbs now, and if you go to some of these suburban restaurants and they're not very good, packed to the gills. Because people will do anything not to get in the car and drive to the city.
But are we seeing the exodus some of our finest chefs out of the city because of whatever?
No, but they'll have, look at Left Bank. Left Bank never came to the city, and they have 5 restaurants. Look at, well, Chow is not a good example, but many of these restaurateurs have all these little mini chains, and they're all in the suburbs.
But they're not abandoning the city necessarily.
Oh, they've never come in the first place.
But are there? But and I remember we also talked about that they were. Remember they were preserving these their various menu items, and they were able to ship them to Atlanta and around the country overnight, right, by air, with this process, and that
Cryovacking.
Cryovacking.
Yes.
Is that did actually continue to take off?
A little bit, and if you go down to the Ferry Market, you know, the Ferry Plaza
That's been
Market.
a success.
It's a success, but if you go back to its original, there are less food purveyors there than when they started. There's more places selling little tchotchkes and maps and other things. And there's one person who does meat, and everything is cryovac. Why is that? Because they're not selling enough meat to move it
What do you think? Okay, what's your take then on the Ferry Plaza? Why did that happen?
My take on the Ferry Plaza market from the very beginning was, unless there's parking, people are not going to go down there and shop and then get on the J Church with 2 bags of groceries. It's also pretty expensive. I mean, most of the food there. It's just not in people. They'll go there on the Saturday for the farmer's market, but who is going to get on the J Church with what they're going to cook for dinner and go down there and get it and then get back on the bus?
Do you think these big luxury restaurants like the 2 going on, the close down there on the waterfront, are they going to continue to make it? Do they have enough tourism and outside?
You know, we have 17 million people a year coming here. So, I mean, they're going to grab the tourists. They're going to grab the people off the ferry. They're going to grab the people who go to those markets there. And he has this huge
and
name.
the whole financial district.
And the financial. Plus, he has 2 very, very good chefs. Jan Birnbaum is going to do the meat and roasting in the oven. And then Mark France is going to do the seafood.
When
so
they
that'll
open?
be pretty good. In January, one of them is going to open in January.
We're going to have you back. I want you to go to both of them, or maybe I'll join in one of them, and I'll come back and we'll talk about that.
So are we going to have some
after the program?
salumi?
Yeah, salami. GraceAnn Walden, thank you for being with us, and
it was fun.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.